You know, you got to start with Jim and Jeannie, and you know how that all relationship plays out. I mean, it starts there and having clear direction and clear authority, and then it goes down to the coaching staff, and you know what's Mike going to do, you know what they want to do with Mike, and then it goes from there. But it's got to start at the top.
Hey, listen, it's got to start at the top. I don't know what to say about that. Kobe Bryant, you know, he is Mr. Laker, the greatest Laker of all time, according to Magic Johnson, basically just threw his head coach under the bus. Well, I can't say that. He drop-kicked him under a train. So the quote comes back, what they want to do with Mike. It's weird. What you want to do with a guy that you've already signed to a contract extension who's coaching the team, what do you want to do with him? So I guess, Lenny, I'm so thankful we have you here today because of all this great stuff coming out of the grapevine. It's a players' league. We know this. Did Kobe step out of his bounds, or is that a negative thing for the Lakers for him to put Mike D'Antoni in that position?
Well, he's only doing what he's been doing for the last couple of years. So, you know, it's not, you know, all of a sudden everybody is shocked. I'm not shocked.
He just wants to win? The guy just wants to win?
He wants to win. But the Lakers have not set a precedent. So I mean, anybody could kind of speak up on that team right now at this point and say things, you know. I don't, you know, first of all, yeah, we all know it begins at the top, okay? And at the top, that guy has to back his coach, or else the coach doesn't have any wherewithal. So, you know, it's got to start at the top, right, but no player should be saying that.
But it's a players' league, though. Because I agree with you. In principle, that's how it should be. But if Kobe says they're going to follow their player, especially a player like Kobe Bryant.
It's a player league.
Especially without a strong guy on top.
But if you don't have a strong guy at the top.
Yeah.
Okay?
Like a Jerry Buss.
I'm going to agree with one of the all-time winningest coaches. Okay, what Kobe's doing, in my opinion, and take away, you know, him as a player, he's tarnishing his legacy, if you ask me. Or at least his reputation amongst...
What reputation?
No, not as a player, but Mike never did this. Like some of the greats have never put your coach year after year in this position where he's somewhat of a lame duck. It's your star player doesn't want to play for you. Not only does he not want to play for you, he's currently not playing. So, I mean, in terms of your impact on the team, you know, you're a veteran, you're a leader on that team. They've still got, you know, the rest of the season to play. How does this impact the rest of your season?
Well, I think
they're younger players. Like,
well, he's not playing the rest of the season.
Exactly.
I think part of my issue is the fact that it's not even like it's the coach's fault specifically on why their team has been this bad. They've been plagued with injuries. Right, but they've had a ton of injuries this year, the last couple of years, that haven't allowed them to be where they are. So it's not even like he's done a bad.
It's their culture.
Yeah,
okay.
The culture is the issue.
So Kobe has made it clear now that he wants the Los Angeles Lakers to go all in for next season. So now, looking at what all in would be, that would be a free agent acquisition, a top draft pick, and Kobe Bryant returning at full health. So my question to you is, with the right free agent, with the right draft pick, and with a healthy Kobe Bryant, does this return the Los Angeles Lakers to championship contention? Now, my dad once told me something a hater is going to hate, so we have to let by talk.
Not without Phil Jackson.
Go. It's you. Go.
Not without Phil Jackson. And I think the reason Kobe had so much success under Phil, he was able to manage him and manage his personality. And that's all it comes down to. Kobe Bryant's basketball speaks for itself. He needs to be coached by someone with enough respect, personality, and experience to deal with his personality.
True. Okay, now you mentioned a name that we got to jump to now because we got Lenny here. Phil Jackson. 2 weeks ago, the rumors started trickling in that Phil Jackson was offered a position with the New York Knickerbockers, a group that you had spent some time with in recent history. So let me hear what I've gleaned from my research. So Mr. Mills, who was actually running the Garden Group, came to Phil Jackson with an offer to replace Mike Woodson as the head coach. From what I've gleaned, Phil Jackson does not want to work with Mr. Mills. He made a call to Mr. Dolan, James Dolan, the man who owns and runs the New York Knicks, and says, I'd like to come in as president, and I would like to clean things up. So, Lenny, first off, does that happen often that guys get offered jobs and they just take the job from the guy who offered them the job?
Well, first of all, when you've made as many mistakes as the Knicks have, okay, they're willing to, Dolan could be willing to listen to anything at this point in time because he's been part of the screw-up as well. And certainly, if I'm Phil, I want to go in and I want to start clean. I want everybody out of there, okay, and put my own group in so that we have a fair chance of winning. So I understand what Phil was saying, okay? Now, you know, certainly, you know, he's won. He's shown that he's had success. So he can surround himself with people that he knows the game of basketball. Evidently, that has not been there with the Knicks. Yeah, they know some talent. I mean, you know, but does the talent complement one another? Can this talent win playing together?
Larry Brown made the same comment, you know, the
On
other
the-
day.
on,
yeah, it's if they hire some basketball people
To make basketball
decisions and leave the business to some business people,
Yes.
or find people who understand both, which is very important. Then you can change your culture.
We're all
but-
overlooking one thing, and you hit the nail on the head. Dolan is the big part of the problem. He's the overseer where he steps in and messes stuff up. So the key to this relationship working is if Dolan is going to back off and let Jackson do what he needs to do, because he's the meddler.
Quickly, do you think Dolan will give Phil the room to make this thing happen?
He should. I don't know if he will.
Okay.
But he should.
And okay, on that note, we got to go to break, but we have more to break down on the Hangout. This is a home for Canadian basketball, so we got to break down award season for the Canadians. Jordan Baczynski, Nick Stauskas, my man Mullings. It's time to give props to the Canadians on the Hangout.